Well, good morning. I mentioned to you yesterday, or I showed you in yesterday's vlog, that Peter was making jerky, and I said I will be back so that you guys can see the whole process, just in case this is new to you. So just a sec here, Peter, I'm just getting your shoulder. Warren's making eggs behind me. The kitchen's kind of a busy place right now. So that's it. You just kind of keep squeezing, right? Nice. You got that figured out after the first tray. Your arm is getting tired, huh? Yeah. So Peter is still at it doing his, making the jerky strips, and I washed clothes yesterday, but I never folded. So what I'm going to do before we get started with school here is I'm going to get this laundry folded. I have 2 loads of darks. I actually put another load into the washer this morning here, but just, I got to get this stuff folded because that's what the kids do in the morning. They put their laundry piles away, and if I don't have laundry piles for them, then they don't have any to put away. We just finished lunch, which was leftovers. We had some leftover spaghetti and stew with the biscuits from last night, a little bit of ham for a ham sandwich. Okay, but I really need to show you this. So I have for a long time kept salt in just a mason jar. These are those just like plastic screw-on lids that you can get in regular or wide mouth for your jars. Well, they're great. I use them all the time. I want to say I read someplace using the lid from the Parmesan cheese, like, you know, the shaky cheese, and that it could fit on a mason jar or something. And I was like, you know, I'm going to give that a try. And it works. You guys, it's perfect. We just finished up the Parmesan cheese today, and I threw the canister away, and I'm like, you know what? No, I need to pull that out. So I washed it quick, and it's perfect. It screws on nice and tight. And now I can just use it as a shaker, or when I'm baking, just open it up, stick my measuring spoon in there, perfect. So I'm super thrilled. So another way to just kind of like upcycle something that we normally would just either throw away or recycle.
I just checked my jerky, and some pieces were dry enough and they were done, but other pieces were still too squishy and stuff. These are the pieces that are already done.
And I tasted it. I'm not a huge jerky fan, and I tasted it, and I thought it tasted good. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it.
I like the cracked pepper flavor for sure.
Yeah.
It's really good. Nice job.
Thanks.
All right, it looks like all my clothes, it's really just some bedding here, is done. So I'm going to pull that stuff out. I'm not going to fold it yet. I am working on editing my January Q&A. So I know I mentioned in another video that what I'm doing now is all the questions, or even if there's like a comment that just kind of keeps coming up or something like that, like telling me how terrible I am at cutting mango and how I did it totally wrong. Anyway, anything that's just kind of a common thread or a question that is coming up in videos from one month, I will do a Q&A the next month and put that out so that I can just kind of answer all the questions at once. And usually if one person has a question, a lot of people will have that same question, right? Isn't that what teachers always say? No question is a dumb question, because probably someone else is thinking it too. So what I'm doing right now is just editing the January questions, and I hope to get this out tomorrow, which would be February 23rd. As I was editing, I could see the reflection of outside in my screen, and it has been snowing, or earlier today it was more just like this really fine, grainy, icy snow that was falling. I saw the reflection. I was like, oh my gosh, it has really changed to snow. And I just thought, I'll give you guys a little peek. Oh, see the hole in our screen? Yes. Do you see that right there in the middle? That was from someone going the wrong direction on the mower, and a rock came sailing over and hit the screen. That was, I think, last summer, or maybe even the summer before already. But we have a lot of juncos hitting the bird feeders right now. Mrs. Cardinal was just here a minute ago. Oh, there's a chickadee just flew away. There's a Junko. Oh, I don't know. You just saw that, about a couple of them were doing a little dance. There's the Junkos. Lots of Junkos visiting right now. There's blue jays off in the ash trees there. It's almost like they take turns. The blue jays will come in and they'll scare every other bird away, and then they'll eat for a little bit, and then all of a sudden the blue jays will fly off, and then the Junkos and the finches will be back, and then they fly off, and it's like they just kind of keep doing that throughout the day. It looks like I'm going to have to get out there and fill the bird feeder. We only have seed in the big one right now. They have drained the other two. I was just coming out to fill up the bird feeders, and Warren was coming up. He must have finished splitting wood, and now he's going to go and haul it all back. Oh no, there's still one sitting in the dogwood there. The chickadees, they rarely fly away when I come out here. There's one just still sitting over on the other side. But if I stood here long enough, let's see, oh, there. There's two of them there. And I just filled the feeders on the other side of the house. Now I'm going to do these cattails, load up this one. This is the one that, these are the ones that Maria was loading the other day. And then I'm going to go over there and I'm going to fill up the one we won this bird feeder at some function. And anyways, it's like a cat. It's a little black cat, so it looks kind of like sugar. So I'm going to go over there and load up that one. And I did have somebody ask me recently what I put in my bird feeders, and I just put straight black oil sunflower seed in. I find that there's the least amount of waste. If I do like the mixed wild bird mixes, I don't know, I just feel like they just kind of push that around. They take out the sunflower seeds first, and then the other stuff just sort of gets left behind or scattered all over. So anyway, I think this is probably a little more expensive, but they are definitely attracted to this more. So yesterday's video just ended abruptly, but yesterday afternoon at about 3 o'clock, I just got really, like I started feeling really sick. I felt super feverish on my face and really hot, but yet my body was just like freezing and had the chills, and I started to feel really nauseous, and I wasn't sure if it was because we had the jerky going, and I'm kind of sensitive to smells anyway. And we had the jerky going, you know, for 6-7 hours, and that is very, very strong, you know, smelling. And then also I had a pork roast going in the crock pot, and so I don't know if it was just all those smells or what happened, but I just started to feel like maybe I was going to, I just thought I was going to get sick, like maybe throw up or something. Anyway, I went back, I laid down in bed for a few hours. Maybe it wasn't even that long. I don't know, but it was a little bit. And then when Warren came in from work, which he actually came in a little later than normal, but he put together supper. So it would have been a great supper to show you guys, because what he did, and my dishwasher's going, I know that's kind of annoying, but what he did, because I already had the pork roast in the crock pot, but he's like, what else am I going to serve, you know, to everybody with that? And I said, well, we have one of those little pouches of instant mashed potatoes. He's like, I don't think that's going to be enough. So I had he found the potatoes that I had, the frozen mashed potatoes I had made. And normally how I make them, when I like let them thaw for a little bit till they break in half enough where I can jam it into a crock pot, and then I warm it on low all day and stir it, so I kind of stir the liquid back in and get them real creamy again. He actually just put it in the sink with some hot water, and he said in about like 20-25 minutes it was almost thawed. He put it into a glass bowl in the microwave 3 times at 5 minutes and just stirred really well after each one, and the mashed potatoes were perfect. They were so good, and they didn't even get that little bit of like browning that sometimes they get in the crock pot. So anyway, okay, and then he did that canned corn that I had, that I had just gotten a couple days ago. He found that in the pantry, and then he also found some pork and beans, and that ended up being supper. And by the time everything was ready, I know this sounds like kind of a cop-out, but honestly, by the time everything was ready and the jerky had been turned off and the crock pot had been turned off and I was starting to get really hungry, I came out and I did join them for supper. We ate pretty late. I want to say it was like 6:30, 7 o'clock, something like that, but we did end up eating, or I did end up coming out and eating, and I felt much better as the evening went on. Anyway, I know that was a long story, but what I'm doing right now, so here we are, it's the next day, it's 1:30, it's after lunch, we went to music lessons, we did some school work. The kids are with Warren right now. After lunch, they went to check their traps real quick, and he's going to come in and get me. Oh, I just hear Peter. He's going to come in and get me for a snowmobile ride. So I thought I would get some bread going in the bread machine. So I'm going to try this recipe. I've never made it before. It came with one of my bread makers over the years, and it's just called black pepper onion bread. And we're going to have some chicken tonight, and I thought this would be, I just thought it'd be kind of tasty. I hope that the kids are going to like it, and I'm going to make the 2-pound loaf. All right, this is what it's looking like. So it's just a basic bread machine, or it is a basic yeast bread recipe, except with the addition of minced onion, pepper, and a little garlic powder. And I'm going to try it. Never tried this before, but I am actually looking forward to it. I think it'll go well with supper tonight. So I'm going to get this in the bread machine here. I tell you all the time, I just use my bread machine for making the dough, because I don't like how it makes bread. Get on there. All right, and they're in, and Warren is waiting. It's blurry back there, but he's over there. It's blurry. But anyway, he's waiting for me, so we're gonna go for a snowmobile ride, and I guess that's it. We'll be back to see how the bread turns out a little later.
Well, we don't have great snow conditions. We basically just have about 1 inch of snow on top of really hard, crusty snow. So it's not great, but we'll take what we have. You ready?
I'm ready. A hold on for dear life kind of ride, so
well, this is a nice easy trail here.
Okay.
You know, when you get out into the open, you kind of want to crank it up a little bit.
Yeah. Now that I'm back in from the snowmobile ride, it is time to think about supper for tonight, and I wanted to make marinated Italian chicken. I'll be doing this in my cast iron, and so I get started here making the marinade, which is a cup of mayo, a cup of Italian dressing, a half teaspoon of garlic powder, a half teaspoon of Italian seasoning, a half teaspoon of onion powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground red pepper, and a 1/4 teaspoon of paprika. I get it all mixed up and then trim up my chicken, which I am using boneless, skinless chicken thighs for this. We love the dark meat with this. They stay so tender and so moist. It's just so good. So anyway, I get the meat trimmed up, trim off any extra bits of fat, and then nestle it all into the marinade. And I'm making sure that I get the marinade over top of all the meat and really get it nestled in there really well. I get the cover put on and then get that put in the fridge before starting in on the bread. I like to oil my counter when making bread. I just think that little bit of olive oil adds a nice, just a nice tenderness to the crust. And this time I'm making one big loaf, so I'm just going to get it kind of stretched out, roll it up, get it in the bread pan, set it in a warm place to rise. All right, so what you just saw me do is prepare a marinated Italian chicken for supper tonight. Usually I use boneless, skinless chicken breasts for that, but I didn't have that right now. I had boneless, skinless thighs, so that's what I'm using. And then you also saw me roll out the bread, and I like to just find a sunny place to put the bread. So today I have it rising on my table because the sun is just streaming in right there, and it's just a nice warm spot. So I'll leave it there for at least 30 minutes, maybe even upwards of 45 for it to rise. That will give me time to actually make some cranberry bars. There's something about all the sunshine today. It's just really got me like amped up, and I just want to get a bunch of stuff done. So, and when I want to get a bunch of stuff done, I like to get a lot of stuff done in the kitchen. All right, cranberry bars are on page 45, and it's really simple. You're going to see me put eggs and sugar and butter and flour and baking powder and salt and vanilla into here. I'm going to mix it all up until it's really well mixed. Add in some cranberries, add in some walnuts. We're going to put it in a greased 9x13 pan, bake it at 350 degrees for about 40 minutes. Whoops. I hit the 30-second button on the microwave to just soften my butter, and I thought, well, I'll just run back over and stop it when it gets to 20, because I really only wanted it in. I wanted it in for 10 seconds, and I forgot. So we have some melted butter. And this would be a good time. I haven't mentioned this in a video in quite a while about the cookbook. So if you are interested in getting one of my cookbooks, it's 150 recipes, just our family's favorite recipes. And what you can do is just go down to the description box in this video. That's if you click on like see more, it'll drop down, or there might be two little arrows that drops you down. You can look in the description box, and there will be links in there to buy one cookbook or 2 cookbooks or 3 cookbooks. It will take you over to PayPal. You don't necessarily need a PayPal account where you have money in your PayPal. You can pay with a credit or a debit card. That's completely fine. And it's totally secure away from me. I don't get any of your numbers or anything. I just get the money. And then I get your address so that I can ship out your cookbook to you. So just wanted to let you know. So there's been some big changes with shipping. I was able to ship to most of Europe. Yes, I have been able to ship to most of Europe for right about $9, and they just switched it up on me, and now no matter what, I can't ship for like under 17 right now. And I don't know if that's a permanent thing, if they've just changed shipping fees or changed the category that like merchandise goes into or something. So if you are an international viewer, what you can do is you can just go onto PayPal, order a cookbook or 2 or whatever it is that you want. And then what I will do is I will monkey around with the shipping until I can get it to be the least expensive shipping for you. And then I will send you an email letting you know what the additional is, because I already charged $4 for shipping. So then I will just let you know what the additional shipping is. You will PayPal that amount to me, and then I will ship out your cookbook. And Australia is still a no-go. So I'm not really sure what's going on. They accept it. They allow me to buy the shipping. Even at the post office, they allow me to. But then it goes through this long process, and when it gets to customs in Australia, they ship it back. So We don't really know why, but yeah, Australia is just a no-go. So anyway, that's the cookbook thing. So let me get on with this now. I'm pretty sure it's time to clean the oven because when I start the oven, it smells like a burnt pizza. I better clean it. Not today though. Not today. Like Joe says, not today, Mom, not today. Here is what we have going on. The cranberry bars are out of the oven. They're cooling. I really don't like to put the cream cheese frosting on until they're cool. So we will probably have these as not really a after supper dessert, but a little bit later, or it might be tomorrow. I don't know. Here's the chicken marinating. I have my great big cast iron out with some olive oil and some butter, and I'm going to get that turned on right now just to kind of low-ish because I want that to melt so that and get really hot so that when I cook the chicken it kind of sears it in. And then here's the loaf of bread that just came out a minute ago. You always thump it. It's kind of like testing a watermelon. You want it to sound like hollow. And I'll just let it rest in there for a minute or two. And I also threw in some baked potato while the cranberry bars were going. So a little bit, about halfway through the cranberry bars baking. What I really wanted to make tonight was pepper jack potatoes, where you slice the potatoes and you layer them with butter, pepper jack cheese, salt and pepper, and then bake it like that. Cover it. I just love that. It's so good. And you can use any cheese. So if you don't like pepper jack, you can use any cheese. But that's really, really good. But then I realized, wait a minute, if I'm making cranberry bars and then I have to have the bread go in the oven, I'm not going to be able to put something else in the oven yet. So I just switched it up quick, threw in baked potato because I can put those right in alongside everything else. And they just were in the oven while the cranberry bars were baking, while the bread was baking, and they are nicely done. And then also for supper, I have 2 of these bags here. I picked these up at Aldi. They say Asian seasoned. I honestly don't really taste much for seasoning on these at all, but they do have some sort of seasoning. So I'll just pop those in the microwave, and I have my bowl here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my bowl over on the stove because I want it to get heating up. We're just going to put that bowl over here. It'll warm up as the microwave is going so that the vegetables will stay hot. Joe, you ate fast.